Scott will be absent. We can get started.
Okay. Well, we'll call this meeting of the policy committee to order. First on the agenda is the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a roll call. Joe and Scott are not here. We have Kimberly and Marcus, myself. So we do have a quorum. We need a motion to approve the minutes from April 27th. Do we have a motion?
To approve the minutes from April 27th.
And I'll second.
Any more discussion? Kimberly?
Yes.
Yes. Marcus?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Joe?
Yeah, so our first policy on the docket is KNAR. You all have a copy in there. If you flip the page over, and credit to Tammy, she added these numbers along the side, which makes it really easy. This change came out of a recommendation from our administrators just to get clarity around this. So you'll see on line 60 highlighted in yellow, there's just a additional 2 sentences. These were written by our attorney that just provide some clarity for when a student's being if a student is just a witness to something and needs to be interviewed by law enforcement to get a sense of what happened, just as a witness, not as a suspect, this adds language in there. An interview may proceed without prior parent notification only when required by law enforcement, subject to legal restrictions due to exigent circumstances, or when law enforcement officials determines that prior parent contact would compromise the integrity of an investigation. In such cases, the administrator shall comply with the direction of law enforcement. So that just had some clarity for that process that has been reviewed by legal counsel. Any questions from the committee?
No.
With that, you guys could make a motion to move this, and we're not actually adopting these policies, we just move them to the school board to review at their next meeting.
I moved to push this to the next school board meeting.
I will second that motion.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. Kimberly?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yes.
And I'm yes.
All right, I've got the next policy, ACAR, and this just is a small update. If you look on line 7 of your draft, and I actually caught an error, it says the superintendent of designee, it should say the superintendent or designee shall be the designated as the district's ADA compliance officer. So this is just adding that designee, which would typically be our director of special education. So that's one update on line 7. The other update is on, and this just comes, I believe, from OSBA, is on line 86, where it just says job descriptions shall be maintained and provided upon request. So someone can request job descriptions, and it looks like they added the word video in there, that you know, if you do it through online video. Those are the 2 changes for that policy. A motion could just be as discussed, so that way you're just getting those 2 changes to move those along to the Kirk County School Board.
I got a question. How often, like with the self-evaluation and the process, did I miss something on there? How often that gets done, or what the plan is on that?
That's typically annually
Okay.
by our sped director.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
As discussed, I look to move to the next board meeting with this updated policy.
Have a second?
I was like that person.
Any more discussion? Okay, we'll go to a vote. Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
and I am a yes.
All right, moving down to ACAR two. This is OSBA language updates, and this just, it looks like in line 12, in line 20, and in line 29. It's just updated language, just taking out pronouns. And then the update in line 29 just has to do with updating the steps.
We had one on this and it may not be, we do reference the law, but in the policy itself, OAR 581-002-005. Acceptance of appeal, we don't mention an appeal process in the policy.
Interesting. That is something I can take back and dig more into. So we do not have to move this one forward and we can get figured out what that appeal process is.
Yeah, I just thought maybe we should have a line in there about
Yeah,
the appeal process.
so,
So we will,
yep, if you don't take any action on that, I can bring that back and dig into that with Tammy.
okay. Next one,
Okay, this is ACB. There was a question that we reached out to OSBA on, and I'm gonna pass around their response. The question that came up was from a board member asked the question about OAR 581-022-231 that included ORS 326.051F that required adopting rules around discriminating in participation around interscholastic activities and whether that language needed to be in the policy. What I'll pass around is OSBA's response. And essentially what he said, this came from OSBA, is that the law was around the State Board of Education is required to adopt language around that. And then he said a district board could have policies or rules reflecting this. He said our policy AC includes a board prohibition on discrimination, which would cover that. So he essentially says, we don't need to add any language to this in order to be in compliance. So
Okay.
with that in mind, this was one of those policies, if you remember, we went through all of A's and this
Yeah.
was one that didn't have any changes, but we could move to take this to the school board as written.
we have a motion,
I move to take policy ACB to the school board as written.
And I'll second.
take a vote,
Yes.
Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Similarly, policy AD was one that we reviewed and had no changes, so this could go to the board as written.
The only thing I wondered about that, so simple, but we were changing pronouns in a different policy, and this one has the his/her instead of their.
Which line is that, Kimberly?
19. 19.
19, yeah, there, I thought it was there 2 times.
Line 5. Line 19.
And if we're trying to clean everything up and be consistent,
Yeah, so you guys could move to update that to just there, and then move it to the board if that's the only change. And then if I actually did notice down in the legal references, ORS 329 is crossed out, so that
Yeah.
might be. So you could move it to the board with those changes discussed.
I moved to push policy AD to the board meeting with changes for the pronouns. In line 5 and 19 and remove 27. Legal records.
Have a second,
I will second that motion.
any further discussion? Vote, Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
All right, policy CBG. This just comes from OSBA with some updated legal language. This is talking about evaluation of the superintendent. You can see they added a footnote, that one in line 18. And then they added some language or of any directive to personnel concerning district goals. The board just can't give directives within executive session, so it just clarifies that. And then you'll see the additional footnote in blue down there at the bottom.
So I have a quick, so they're just saying not because in paragraph 1, it says the evaluation will be based on the superintendent's job description and applicable standards of performance, and then the change of language is kind of saying don't discuss performance in it. So is that just an executive?
Yeah, my understanding is that language is, I'll read the sentence. Such an executive session will not include a general evaluation of any district goals, objectives, or operations, or of any directive to personnel concerning district goals, So my understanding is you just can't, in an executive session, give directives. So that's what I anticipated,
Okay.
they were doing with that. On our sheet, says OSBA required policy change, proposed language changes are a result of several changes from the Oregon Legislature and the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. So yeah, I think it's just around the board can't take action, and I believe a directive would be action.
Okay. And then also adding information on how the superintendent may request an open hearing. We're adding that.
Yes,
Okay, do we have a motion? I'll move to move CBG onto the school board with the corrective sentences.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
that takes us to policy CPA, layoff and recall for administrators. This is one that believe we pulled from OSBA as a model policy. We already have layoff procedures for teachers as well as classified staff. As we came into some situations, as we've reduced some administrative positions, it was clear that we needed a layoff policy for administrators if that ever happens. So this was model language that I believe we got from OSBA. And we found that most districts have this policy and we did not. So this would be a new policy.
Yeah, the ORS both cited looked fine, so I'm good with it. Do we have a motion?
So would we say I move to add policy CPA as presented?
Yep, to the school board to review.
To review.
A second.
Any further discussion? And vote, Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
All right, policy GBN JBA. I'm gonna read the description. So the proposed policy changes to match the policy language adopted by the board on May 11th, 2026 to adopt JBA/GBN and OSBA required policy changes that clarifies the notice requirements. So Joe has presented on these. This just updates some definitions. Particularly, you'll see on the second page, line 42, you'll see it defines what consent is. You'll see a 2 added on line 44, and then that references the footnote below. So that's legal language. And then you'll see throughout the policy, just updating the footnote numbers throughout the policy. For example, on line 132, updating those footnotes. And then there's an additional, if you go to line 179, they just update some language there, and that's legal language from OSBA. And it's around getting more notice to the person who's filed the complaint. So One additional change on this, if you look at line 249. I believe it didn't get the right coloring scheme, but you'll see we're changing an A to an N in order to be grammatically correct. And then additionally on lines 311 and 312, it updates some more recent 1999, 1998 cases that help inform the policy.
Well, this was a lengthy one. There any questions around this? Have a motion?
Move to put on the next board meeting, GBN, JBA, sexual harassment.
Second,
I will second that motion.
any further discussion? Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
So now it's just the inverse, JBA, GBN, so exact same policy changes, it just is found in both places in our policy book. So this one, there is a difference though on. And I'm not sure why OSBA does this, but it adds a different legal case on
Right.
line 308.
Any questions? Have a motion?
I will move to forward JBA/GBN to the board for review at their next meeting.
I'll second. Kimberly?
Yeah.
Marcus?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. And Leland.
All right. Policy EBB, which is our integrated pest management plan. Let's see, House Bill 2684 passed. And now everything all these changes that are in here are all reflect ORS 634-705. So there's not a whole lot we can do to change most of that language that's in there. A couple notes on that very first blueprint. We already put most of our stuff on the website. The only thing that's going to be different now is that we'll have it on the website and include the list of all the pesticides that we actually use. So we'll get that set up. The second thing to really note is item 9. We don't currently educate school staff about sanitation, monitoring, inspection, and pest control measures. So that's something we'll have to add. And then in line 48, it designates the lead groundskeeper as the designated person for the IPM plan. And I think that should probably be the facilities manager. I think I would recommend we make that change so that you actually have a manager, administrator that's in charge of everything. Talked about that one. Line 82 talks about every 5 years, the school board has to review the IPM plan. I don't believe the board's ever reviewed the current IPM plan. We are in the process right now of making updates to it. It hasn't really changed much in the last 15 years. There's not anything new really that's gone into it until now. So we'll update that plan, and I'm guessing we should probably have that ready for the board like in October or November for the board to review that.
Okay.
That's it.
And so right now, who does the report from 67 all of the requirements? Do you do that?
So I'm the one that right now, me and Tom both ensure that things are running according to the plan. But our lead groundskeeper right now, he keeps all the records and he's the one that attends the training every year. But I think that should probably go to a management position.
Leah, so did you recommend on line 48 instead of, it says the lead groundskeeper, did you recommend changing that to the director of operations?
I would change it to the facilities manager.
Okay. So cross out lead groundskeeper, change that to facilities manager.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? No, does anyone?
Oh, no,
No.
I thought you said I'm going to approve that and I.
Hey,
Who started in these reports?
Leland says so, I support that. Okay.
But now with these changes, is it best that we do nothing with this so it can?
No,
be
you could just, you could, if the committee wanted to move it forward with the board, to the board with the discussed changes. As long as, and the only change would be on line 48, crossing out lead groundskeeper and putting in facilities manager, in addition to the changes, in the draft.
I move policy EBB to the next board meeting with the discussed changes.
I will second that motion.
Any further discussion? Vote, Kimberly,
Yes.
Marcus,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Excuse me.
She's all started it.
Okay. That is all of them, are we going to schedule committee dates?
You know, I think with two members of the community
Yeah.
gone, it might be good to postpone
I
that.
think we should do.
They're on the agenda, however.
Yeah, there are 5.0, there already is a lot of
Right.
meetings on there, so I think sticking with those.
Yeah. Do we need a motion to? or
No, you can just review the upcoming meetings. You just read through those and then 6.0 is adjourned.
Okay, we have dates scheduled, but we're missing two members, so we'll go with these for now, but subject to change. The next meeting is scheduled for July 13th, virtual only, August 10th, virtual only, September 14th, virtual only, October 12th, virtual only, November 9th, virtual only, December 14th, virtual only, January 11th, 2027, virtual only, and February 8th, 2027, virtual only. That's too far for me to look at. I'm good with it though. Okay, if that's it, then we can adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, guys.